Hey, welcome back to the CRAZYDRE Podcast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to do a little podcast about MLB baseball, Detroit Tigers. Got to keep it together with baseball. Towards the end of the year, it's important for the Detroit team, the Tigers, to do something. They had a great opportunity with the White Sox, and they kind of blew it. I'll get to that point in a second. But I'm going to start out with the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend. This young man, Joshua Baez, hits 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 3 runs. One of the only few players that has ever debuted with a home run, and one of the only ones that ever did it with 3 home runs in a row, at 3 at bats in a row. And he's also one of the as his debut home run, he hit the third longest home run in history. He's behind Jason Hayward. He hit his debut home run 476 feet, and then Aaron Judge, the great New York Yankee player, 457 feet. Joshua Baez hit it for 449 feet off Matthew Boyd. This first time going up against Matthew Boyd was the starting pitcher for the Cubs. That was a story of a lifetime. He'll never forget that against one of the nicer arch rivals of baseball between the Cardinals and the Cubs. So that's very unique. His whole family was there. It was kind of cool to see that moment being done in replay. And congratulations to him. I hope he has a really good rest of the year. I hope it's not just a fluke thing where he does it once and then his career just kind of fades away. I feel like that kind of happens a lot. So, congratulations to Joshua Baez. In other news in baseball, it looks like the Padres have decided to sell the team and looking to sell, and MLB owner approved a $3.9 billion sale for the Padres to be sold. It is crazy money, $3.9 billion. Now, I want to touch base just a little bit about this contracts and all these uh, uh, contracts with players and how the owners don't want to dish out their money, and really it's the deferment money is what it is. Everyone knows about Tarek Skubal. Everyone knows about the Dodgers. Dodgers are one of the better teams. They buy all the players. Other teams out there are not bidding for any other good player. Obviously, the a free agency passed on and trades went by, but that's the thing about baseball. Now, the salary cap thing that we talked about with Mansfried is that he's trying to put a cap of 47 million dollars of his cap, and the teams have to, and then there's a salary of at least 171 million dollars that each team has to dish out in that year, in that cycle. So it's between 171 and 248. He's trying to make it so that all the teams are purposely trying to buy players and participate, but he's also trying to make sure that teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, and other teams out there like the Mets don't go exceed that the price range for those contracts. Do I think it's going to work? Probably not. Clearly, San Diego Padres are trying to sell. I don't see how, again, deferment. If you can sell or buy players and pay them for 20 years after they're done playing, a lot of owners don't want to do that, and they won't do that. However, I do think that baseball should kind of look at it like who they want people to buy baseball teams or sports teams. And I think one of the solutions would be is someone that is a baseball or football or basketball fan. I think that if you're a billionaire and you don't like baseball, but you try to make money, I don't think that's fair to the fans, nor fair to people who are paying $240 per family of 4 tickets not even including parking and everything else with it. So I do think that the next Padres ownerships should be people that like the sport and enjoy it and want the teams to win. Milwaukee Brewers, that ownership over there love their team, but they didn't. Detroit, for some reason, rejected the Turk Skubal trade. I'm not a big fan of that at all. How about speaking of the Tigers? I wanted to at least bring this guy up, Mr. Brett Callaham. He basically hit a triple in the second inning for Detroit Tigers. It's Game 3 of the White Sox series. Congratulations to him. He drove in Cole Keith and Zach McKinstry for a temporary lead for Detroit in that game. I'll get back to that game a little bit later. But congratulations to him. I'm just afraid that ever since I don't like how teams, when they trade their star players, they bring up all these prospects to distract the fan base and everything else with it. But again, I think that losing Tarek Skubal was probably one of the worst things for Detroit. Tarek Skubal, for his 3 first starts in LA, has been doing so well. Has been pulled in the 5th inning, one in the 6th, and behind, both games behind. And the first one was kind of a disaster for him anyways. So I seriously think that, unfortunately, with Detroit, they're bringing up all these guys just to distract the fan base, and we're not really paying attention to what really is the matter. And I tell you what, I'll be honest with you, folks. I think when you look at Detroit's Tigers against the White Sox, we lost 9-5, and then we lost 4-3 and 7-5, 3 games in a row. We were 2.5 games out of first place, and now we're 5.5 games out of first place. So that doesn't really say much. I think what we need to really talk about is the bullpen for Detroit. The bullpen, I tell you, it really doesn't matter if it's Summers or Finnegan or anybody out there. Those guys sometimes are not doing that well, and they can't keep guys off base and not to score. I see a lot of times the starters get worn out by the 4th, 5th inning for Detroit, and then they go to the bullpen. This is an AJ Hinch thing, and you set up someone like Summers, who's relatively very young, and he can't come through. And I think Finnegan is a good example of some guy that is going to be overused. Finnegan is going to be overused for Detroit. He's a pretty good bullpen guy, but if you're going to overuse him, he's going to give up runs sooner or later. He did pretty good with the against the White Sox. So if I would here, I'll just go over the stats or these game stats for Game 1. Detroit lost 9-5. White Sox 14 hits. Detroit 10. Detroit gave up 4 home runs. And then the White Sox gave up 2. Total bases 30-20, 20 for Detroit. And then runners left on base. It just shows you that Detroit couldn't hit the ball, and they only had 6 guys left on base, and they scored 5 runs. But if you see that game in itself, you see Game 1. It looked like the White Sox did something that's very intelligent, and that was they basically attacked Jackson Jobe, and you know, they didn't wait for Jackson Jobe to throw his good stuff. They didn't wait for him to confuse the White Sox hitters. Obviously, as a pitcher, you want to throw a fastball or something, a strike zone, to get ahead of the count, and they bounce on that as soon as they could. So in the first inning, Anastasi got a hit, and then Montgomery went in for a run. In the second inning, Ben Majari hit a home run, and Torkelson scored. Then in the same inning, Valencina doubled, and Magago hit. Magago went in for a score to make it 2-1. In the third inning, Peters hits a home run for the White Sox. Meredith also scored to make it 3-3. Murakama, the Japanese of South Korea, I don't know who he is, hit a home run to make it 4-3. And then still in the fourth inning, Montgomery triples, and Vargas and Benedetti also scored to make it 6-3. So I think what we're having a problem here is that, Jackson Jobe is good. But do you think that we relied on Jackson Jobe because we just traded Tarek Skubal? Is it fair for Jackson Jobe and Troy Mountain just to come in and try to do the job? And they're really young. I mean, like Jackson Jobe had like a great stat where he didn't let any run in the first 16, 17 innings. And then like he gets blown up by the White Sox. White Sox did exactly what they wanted to do. They attacked the strike zone. They swung in the first pitches and made them count for it. In the seventh inning, Majari hit a home run. Torres also scored to make it 9-5. I'm bouncing here a little bit there. Jackson Jobe only made it 3-1 in 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 6 ERA, and 4 strikeouts. Not great, but again, if you're going against a team that's very young, like Detroit now, with the pitching staff, Troy Mountain, Jackson Jobe, those type of guys, you got to attack them, go right at them, and that's what they did. I just think that that's something that Detroit's going to have to probably figure out in the future about the bullpen, because even though we have Jacob Smack, he is probably the biggest surprise for me for Detroit as a bullpen guy. Doesn't give up a lot of runs. He's got great control, great stuff. He's just pretty good. I kind of like him. I'm enjoying the fact of what he's doing, coming out of the bullpen so late in the innings. So game 2 against Troy Mountain, Detroit Tigers lose 4-3. They had they came back. Well, they didn't really come back. They scored the first. Well, yeah, I'll just go through it. Montgomery singles, and then Stasi and Maraca scored to make it. Well, it makes it 1-0. Maraki scores. Veselina singles, and Holy scores. I think Holy got a double actually on that play. In the third inning, Montgomery doubled again, and then the other Montgomery scored along with Benedetti, scored to make it 3-1. Fourth inning, Veselina, the backup catcher, again makes a great hit, home run, makes it 3-2. In the fifth inning, Torres doubles, Juke scores to make it 3-3. And then Benedetti singles, and Grachuk scores. Grachuk for the White Sox, that guy can hit. Everyone on that White Sox team can hit. I can't say that about Detroit, but that team played real well. Troy Mountain only went for 4 and 1/3 innings, gave up 9 hits, 3 ERA, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, only 4 strikeouts. Drew Summers, 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and also 4 strikeouts. Summers is doing better, I think he's got to work a little bit on his confidence, but he's improving. Something I will say about that. Finnegan went 1 2/3 inning. Uh, only one strikeout, no hits, no ERAs, no walks. Finnegan is becoming one of my favorite bullpen pitchers. Rainey, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Great thing. Um, I don't. I just think it's too bad that we can't just mesh things together with bullpens. I think Scott Harris is thinking too much about the future and not about now. The third game, Detroit 7-5, 8 hits for Chicago, 7 for Detroit, 3 home runs, 1 for Detroit. Total bases 19 for the Chicago White Sox, 14 for Detroit Tigers. Runners left on base, both 7 players. Oh shoot, yeah. So the third game, Callaham, again, I said, hit a home run. Got a triple. Cole Keith McKinstry scored, and then made it 2-0. Also in the second inning, Max Clark singles, and Callaham also scores to make it 3-0. This game was looking good. I just think that it was just too bad that a guy like Drew Anderson needed this win for his confidence. Drew Anderson is not going to be your everyday starter. This is something that's going to shoot Detroit in the foot in the long run. In the third inning, Anesthesia grounded out, and Peters scored to make it 1-3. Cole Keith hit a home run to make it 4-1. So Cole Keith has seen the ball again, so that's awesome. So Detroit had the lead. And they let it go. In the sixth inning, Romo hits a home run, and Peters scores to make it 3-4. Montgomery single, and then Grinchuk scores to make it 4-4. That same inning, Grinchuk got up to bat and hit the ball right to center field, past the center fielder, and I think Max Clark misran that ball. I think that's something that's going to hurt Detroit. If you don't get outfielders and players that know what they should be doing, I know Max Clark is young, but let's be real. That doesn't help Detroit. That ball could have been caught. That would have not been a score run. So just it would have been that would have been a tie game maybe. If you look, Montgomery. Alvin Montgomery, when Grinchuk scored, if Max Clark caught Grinchuk's ball, that would have never been a lead or a tie for the White Sox. In the seventh inning, Marakma home runs, and Anastasia scores to give them the White Sox 6-4 lead. Dingler doubles. Torres. Dingler finally got a hit. Praise the Lord for that. Dingler was like 2 for 36 or something. Obviously, the first 30. His last 36 at bats. Torres scored, made it 6-5. But then, of course, in the ninth inning, Vargas hits a home run to make it 7-5. Drew Anderson went 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 40 strikes out of 74. That's something that you kind of want to concern about Detroit, is their bullpen is being used a lot because now we don't have enough starters. And I don't know what's going on with Jack Flaherty. I know that he's got something ground or something. His hamstring or groin is going kind of haywire. Tyler Holton gave up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. It's not good. That's what I'm talking about. If your bullpen kind of screwed you in that game for Detroit. Detroit really needed to win at least one out of the 3 games. I have no idea why I'm so tired. I had enough sleep. But Tanner Rainey, nothing. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. And then Jacob Wagensmack, 2 innings, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, and I don't know. All right, folks, we got to talk about the Pirates series, but you know what? We got to really talk about uh, Paul Skenes. Paul Skenes is having problems, I guess, in the bullpen. The first half of the season, or first 26 starts, I think. 9 starts. I'm sorry, I can't read. 9 starts. He's got a 1.98 ERA. Last couple starts, his ERA is 5.00. I think if you look at any replays of Paul Skenes, you'll see that his release point is different. His windup is a little different. It looks like he's trying to hide that fastball. He has no control of it, and it's not looking good. So he was supposed to pitch Sunday night. He does not pitch Sunday night. He's going to pitch on Wednesday night against the Tigers. So take it or leave it. I think that, I don't know. I think that they did that to give him more rest, but I don't know. I think they kind of did that because they thought that Detroit's bullpen can't keep up, and they'll give up runs. As I'm burping in the microphone, what's going on here? Jeez. So some people think if it's his velocities, also he in his first 2024 he had 404 99 miles an hour, over 99 miles an hour strikes, speed limit of speed 223 at 99 plus 2025. This year he's at about 94 miles an hour, and he's only got 299 miles an hour 3 times. And some people will say it's all because Livvy Dunn, his new girlfriend, and she's a distraction, she's a model, blah blah blah. And I think that everyone needs love. And everyone, you know what, I tell you, if you're on a bad team, and not to say nothing bad against the Pirates, nothing to take away from the Pirates. Pirates fans are great. Steelers and the Penguins and the Pirates, great fans. Great fans. But I think that when you're on a bad team and they're not going nowhere, you can get kind of lazy. And then you're going to stay out with your girlfriend for a couple more hours the night. And then your stuff is going to be kind of messed up. That's what I really think. I think if the Pittsburgh Pirates were actually a good team, maybe he would put his girlfriend on the side a little bit and then concentrate back on baseball. Or maybe it's just him having a girlfriend. I mean, everyone needs love, right? Look, I can't tell you what it is. But I can tell you one thing, folks. It looks like Liv Golf is going to end the season, and they're going to skip the Michigan Invitation. And they're going to end it in Indianapolis. I think it's kind of funny. I thought for a second that they had a participant to fund Live Golf in the next year. It sounds good. The company has not come out yet. They say that the players will have insight and money to be represented by Live. So players will make money off the Live organization, but they still have to pay John Rahm, and they haven't. And there's words that he's leaving Live Golf. and there's no money coming in, there's not enough assets. I don't know how that's going to work. I think Liv Golf is done. But I think Detroit, going back to Detroit, I think Detroit's going to have to, they're just going to have to find another pitcher. And it's too bad that the season's done. I know that Detroit's down one game out of the playoffs, but I don't see how they're going to have enough starters who are going to sit in the sixth, seventh inning. The bullpen is a bit shaky at times. I just don't see it. Oh, if you like my podcast, follow, subscribe, give me his love, punch, thumbs up, anything that goes. Peace, love. I'm out of here.